We are here for day 6 of Vlogmas, day 6 on day 7. Hi everybody. Hi everybody.
Hi everybody.
You're here for Vlogmas? It's the most wonderful time of the day. Can you sing that? Can you sing it's the most wonderful time of the day? We're here for Vlogmas. She's home from school because she has a cold. She was coughing for most of the night. So we decided that she would stay home today and share in the Vlogmas celebration. So let's sing the jingle together. Can you sing? It's the most wonderful time of the day. You sing on that octave, right? Is the most wonderful. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to day 6 on day 7 of Vlogmas. We're here for another Vlogmas video, except today we are also doing the Vlogmagram tag created by Shawn from Shawn the Book Maniac and Heather from Soggy Expat Book Nerd. And I'm so excited that Shawn tagged me in the original video. Thank you so much, Shawn. You will hear coughing in the background because my daughter is home sick from school today. She's just coughing, and I was watching this video. So short story time before we get into Vlogmas. I was watching this Instagram video, and it was shared like one of those remix Instagram reels. It was shared by a doctor, and so it gave a little authenticity to it. And the person who was making the original video said that there is no cure for the common cold because the common cold is the cure. Like the common cold symptoms are caused by your body getting rid of toxins. So when you're coughing, it's because there's something that needs to be free. The fever and the runny nose, the congestion, that's your body fighting stuff. That's why there is no cure for the common cold. So I'm trying to remember that as my daughter refuses to take her medicine, is what I'm saying. So she has a cough, so she's home, and you'll hear her because she also doesn't want to sleep. So that's why background for today's Vlogmas video provided by my kiddo. Come say hi.
Hi.
Hi. You're wearing a backpack because you think that you should be in school. Right, go watch movie. I soon come. Oh, take your chips. So yeah, we are here for Vlogmas and Vlogmagram. We are here for Vlogmas and Vlogmagram. Vlogmagram is the tag created by Shawn and Heather, and it is fantastic. There are 3 unique prompts. So like Shawn said, you don't have to wait to be tagged. You can just make a Vlogmagram tag. So if you're watching this, go make the tag because it's fun. But if you are tagged, the person who tags you will ask you 3 questions, 3 prompts for you to respond to in your video. So Shawn gave me 3 questions for me to respond to, and the first question is about Christmas celebration in Jamaica, traditions from Jamaica, because that's where I'm from. So a lot of Jamaican celebrations center on food and community and renewing, like a sense of renewal or rejuvenation and just getting ready. Like you get your house ready, you get your place ready for company, but also for the change of the year, the end of the year and the beginning of a new one. So something that my mother does around Christmas time is she cleans the house from top to bottom twice. So she does it for Christmas and then she does it again for New Year's. Like when I say clean the house from top to bottom, I mean everything, like the china that doesn't get used, china, the crockery, the things, the special cutlery and plates and glasses and so on that are in the cabinet that don't get used get washed before Christmas, and they get washed again before the new year because everything in the house must be clean, is what I'm saying. But there's also a lot of food preparation, a lot of food and special things that you don't necessarily eat and drink for the rest of the year. You make them for Christmas, including black cake, which is a fruit cake, which is made with lots of fruits soaked in wine and more wine. There's alcohol. You can make it without alcohol, but it's, I'm telling you, a lot of Jamaican black cake has wine. And so talking about those celebrations, traditions, I'll tell you some books. People paint everywhere, like they paint their entire houses, and they also paint like the trees, they paint the things outside. So if you have a driveway leading into your house, you'll paint like the stones at the edge, you'll paint that border. You'll paint a little skirt around the trees that line the driveway to your house. Everything gets whitewashed. So yeah, just thinking about Jamaican Celebration, I have 5 books for the challenge, because we're mixing Vlogmas and book challenges with Vlogmagram. So 5 books that I'll ask you if you've read them. The first one I have not read, but Black Cake by Shawn Wilkerson is a new release, newish, came out this year I think. And you were talking about Black Cake. So if you've read this one, you get a point. I don't, because I haven't read it. And then there's a long song by Andrea Levy. Andrea Levy's parents, I think, are Jamaican, but she's British. But this story is set in Jamaica. We're reading about a Jamaican woman who's born enslaved on a plantation, and she lives long enough to be emancipated and to have her story be written, published by her son, who's a professional. Like, that's fantastic. That's a fascinating story, even though it's a novel. Other books by Jamaican authors: Here Comes the Sun by Nicole Dennis Ben, which is a typical Jamaican story. Like, it's really Jamaican. It talks a little bit about colorism, but it also explores what the paradise that Jamaica is, how it looks different for the people who go there as visitors versus the people who work in the tourist industry. And that's just a fantastic book. If you haven't read it, pick it up. But if you've read it, you get a point. Same with These Ghosts Are Family by Maisie Card. This one explores Jamaican families and a legacy of secrecy in our families. Things that happen that nobody talks about, but everybody knows is there, and the next generation has to kind of figure it out. And then this book, man, this is a fantastic story. Augustown by Kai Miller explores a little bit of what it means to be other, how people see people who are different from them and how they treat them, that kind of thing. So yeah, these are 5 titles that came to mind when Shawn asked me to talk a little bit about my Jamaican celebration for Christmas, or just Jamaica in general. The next prompt that Shawn asked me was to share some footage of my reading nook. So my reading nook could be my entire home, because I read everywhere in the house. I'll read in the kitchen if I have a spare moment while I'm cooking. I read in bed, of course, like doesn't everyone, but you're not going to see my bedroom. Not today, not today. But this is, I guess, my reading chair. This is our den. We do everything in this room. We eat here, we watch TV here, we relax here. This is where I edit videos. Everything happens here. This chair specifically, I hang out a lot on this recliner, because I could put my book cart next to me and just have all the books at hand. So, talking a little bit about my reading nook and reading comfy space, I have 5 titles that just made me think about that. So, Vlogmas Reading Challenge continues. This is a book that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. History of the Rain by Neil Williams. It was nominated for the Booker Prize in 2014. This book is about a young woman who I think has had a breakdown, and she goes home to kind of recover, surrounded by the books that her father left her as a legacy. And so it is about her relationship to like hundreds of books. And so yeah, this book makes me think about what reading can do for us in a physiological way, not just like reading for pleasure. And then there is Sunflower Sisters by Martha Hall Kelly. This is the author of Lilac Girls, and I haven't read that one, but you get a point if you've read Sunflower Sisters. Bonus point if you've read Lilac Girls. This one, again, a little bit about the intersection of lives from different spaces. We're reading about 3 women whose lives intersect during the Civil War, but they're from very different backgrounds. 2 of them are from a plantation. One is the enslaver, one is the enslaved, and then someone from elsewhere who's an abolitionist, and a little bit of that story. And then cozy books, because what's a reading nook for if not to enjoy? Just read books for enjoyment, read books that speak to your soul. And so I have just finished reading Jane and Prudence by Barbara Pym, and I love this book. I love Barbara Pym's writing, so I'm trying to read all of her novels, and this is just like the example of the book that you want to curl up in a comfy space and just indulge in, because Barbara Pym's writings make you feel like that. I remember when Shawn from Shawn the Book Maniac was also doing a Barbara Pym reading challenge. I'm gonna have to rewatch some of those videos. And then this is a book that I feel like you need to be in a comfortable space to read, because It's the kind of book that makes you want to read it in one sitting, even though you can't because it's a big book. But it reviews and revisits a lot of scenes, and there are a lot of nuances in this book that you kind of want to you want to immerse in this book so you don't miss what the author is communicating. It's about a woman who has multiple variations of her life, and as we explore them, her life during World War II, as we explore those different possibilities and the different avenues that her life and her paths could take depending on what choice is made, it gives us an opportunity to look at some of the what ifs of World War II. So I thought this book was fantastic. And then one more book, because reading Nook makes me think about The Reader by Bernard Schlink, which I have not read, but I love the title of this book. Like, I feel like, ask me about a book that says me in a title, and it is The Reader, but I haven't read it. So I don't get a point, but if you've read any of these 5 books, then you get a point for each one. So that was prompt number 2. And prompt number 3 from Shawn was share something funny or interesting that happened to you in a library or a bookstore. Last time I went to a bookstore was in the summer, so I don't have any recent bookstore stories. But just thinking about the library and how my library use has changed. When I started using my library in Manhattan a lot, like I lived in Harlem for a while, and that was, during a time when I had a lot of books. Like, I lived alone, kind of, and books were my company. So I would check out the maximum number of books that the library would allow me to have. I also didn't own all the books that I own now. I did not have a lot of books. So I'd go to the library and I'd reserve books online, and I would check out the maximum, which was 50 books. And I remember one time I needed to pick up some books that had come in on a reserve, and I didn't have enough room on my card to check out more books. Like, I had almost up to the maximum. So I brought some books back. And there was this guy who worked as one of the attendants in the library, one of the clerks in the library, and who were kind of friendly. He knew my library habits. So I came and I had these books in hand and books to return, and he was like, "Oh, so you're returning some books just so you could take some more books home?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's actually kind of true." But now, I go to the library now for a lot of different reasons, including I take my daughter to our local library. There's a children's library section in there, and they have games. You can play with Legos, you can color. The children's librarian is an awesome resource person. She does a lot of crafts and activities with the children. So she always has these little packages that we can go and bring stuff home so we can work and do creative things at home as well. So I went to the library a couple of days ago. My daughter was like, I wanted to read a book because I had a book. I'm sitting in the library, right? I have a book to read, and my daughter's like, "Don't you want to play Legos with me?" So that's what we did. But it just makes me think about, how my library use has changed over the years. Still love the library, still have a lot of books out. I think right now I have 28 books checked out from my local library, so that's fantastic. Some things just haven't changed. But because this is Vlogmas, here are 5 titles, 6. No, 5. Here are 5 titles with 6 books. Here are 5 titles that are bookish in some way. So first one is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. This was my first author signing. I went to Barnes & Noble to meet Jojo Moyes. I already had this copy, but they had the movie version being launched, I guess. The movie version. The movie was just about to come out, and so the actress who played the main character in Me Before You was there, Emilia Clarke. And so I got my book signed. I had to buy a new book, but I got it signed by Jojo Moyes and Emilia Clarke. And at the time, I had no idea who Emilia Clarke was. I was like, "Oh, she's playing the lead role in this movie," but she's also from. What's she from? Is it Game of Thrones? She's from some other. Like, she's well known from something else, and I have no idea what it is because I don't watch a lot of movies or things. But yeah, I have 2 copies of this book, and I don't want to give away either one of them, so I still own 2 copies. I also went to see Zadie Smith at the same Barnes and Noble. Listen to her read from her essay collection. I don't remember what the essay collection is called right now, but I heard her, listened to her, went to meet her. I didn't meet her, but yeah, I listened to her. So I'm holding up White Teeth because I think this is probably her most famous novel. This is her debut, I think. So let me know if you've read this one. Other books that I consider to be literary include Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. This has a lot of literary references in here. This is the first book that my husband gifted me, The Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George. So let me know if you've read this, because I read it and I thought it was really delightful. And then one more, Writers and Lovers by Lily King. This was a gift from Laura and I still haven't read it, but thank you, Laura, for gifting me this book. And Madeline Miller, author of Circe, says that the author Lily King is one of her great literary treasures, and Writers and Lovers is suffused with her brilliance. So I do want to read this sometime soon, but those are 5 titles that I think are literary. So those are my responses to the Vlogmagram tag. 3 questions that Shawn posed, and I included 5 books for each one of those prompts. So let me know how you did on that challenge. So thank you again, Shawn, for tagging me. And I will pass the tag on to 2 other people. So first I'm going to tag Didi because I know Didi's doing Vlogmas. And I don't know if you've been tagged otherwise, Didi. But here are my questions for you, if you so choose to do them. So Didi's an American living in France. If you don't know Didi, go check her out. Read So Lit. You should know her. Didi, here are my questions for you. First is, 1, a book that you have read in French. That's either, if it is translated to English, let us know the translation. A book that you have read and love in French. A book that you have read in French and love. Let's start again. So Didi, first question. Tell us a book that you have read in French that you love. And if it is available as an English translation, let us know that so we could, use it as a book recommendation. And if it isn't, tell us that too. A book that you have read in French. 2, I would love to see footage of your reading Nook. Show us a vlog. Like, I remember the first video or videos that I watched from Didi's channel had outdoor, I think you were in your backyard or a backyard garden, a garden of some sort, filming about books for BookTube, and I loved it. It was one of the things that intrigued me on your channel way back then. So I'd love to see where you read now. 3rd question or prompt. Are there authors that you have read their entire works? Who are those authors and why did you choose to read all the books that they have published? So those are my 3 questions for you, Didi. And then I also want to tag Greg from Another Bibliophile Reads. Greg does a lot of tags, so I think there's a high probability that he'll do this video. So here are 3 questions for you, Greg. Number 1, I know this. I know you have multiple copies of books. Why do you have those multiple copies? Tell us the story behind 1 or 2 of those titles that you own multiple copies of and are not considering giving away those copies. Like, why do they mean something to you? 2nd question is, do you give books as gifts? And what is the thinking process behind when you gift a book to someone? 3rd question for Greg is, tell us the furthest you've been away from home. Wherever home is for you. Wherever home is for you. Can be where you live now or where you were. The furthest you've been, and a book that you have read from that place or a book that you bought in that place. Tell us the story behind it. So yeah, those are my 3 questions for Greg. And if you are watching this video, consider yourself tagged. You don't have to wait to be tagged in order to do the video. So if you do the video and you weren't otherwise tagged, link it down below or let me know that you've done the video so I can go watch it. Thank you so much for watching this one. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. We'll be back soon with another video, another Vlogmas video. And thank you again, Shawn and Heather, for creating this Vlogmagram tag. Thank you for watching, and until reading, bye.
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 Bye. I love you. I love you.
You're so funny.
You're so funny.